For those of you that don't know, I actually played for the Twins when I was younger. I was actually one of their top prospects. You know, I was pretty good. Oh man, just look at that little guy. I was actually pretty terrible, and they stuck me out in right field. Welcome to the channel. So today, let's talk some Minnesota Twins. Before I get started, if you are looking for more baseball insight today, feel free to subscribe down below. We are on the road to 300 subscribers. I can't thank all of you enough for your support so far. If you like today's video, leave me a thumbs up. If not, leave me a thumbs down. And please don't forget to leave a comment at the end. Last year, they finished with a record of 101 wins and 61 losses and were the AL Central champions. They were second in runs scored, 9th in team ERA, and 26th in team fielding percentage. Their offense had a historic season in which they hit 307 home runs, which was a major league record. They had quite a few guys that were carrying that offense, but one guy in particular, Max Kepler, had a really good year. He had 36 home runs, drove in 90 RBIs, and had an .855 OPS and a WAR of 4.4. Nelson Cruz was also big for them. He had more than 40 home runs and drove in more than 100 RBIs. He did have a strikeout percentage of 25%, but he had an OPS above 1,000. Mitch Garver, Miguel Sano, and Eddie Rosario all had more than 30 home runs, while Jorge Polanco had a wins above replacement at 4. As for the pitching, Jose Berrios was solid. He won 14 games, had an ERA in the mid-threes, and he struck out 195 batters in 200 innings pitched. Jake Odorizzi was also pretty good. He won 15 games and also had an ERA in the mid-threes. As for the bullpen, that was also really good. They combined for a WAR of 7.4, which ranked them third behind the Rays and the Yankees. Taylor Rogers was their closer. He saved 30 games and struck out 90 guys overall. Let's move on to the offseason. The Twins had a pretty decent offseason. Let's start off with the big one, Josh Donaldson. He was a huge get for the Minnesota Twins this offseason. Last year, he had 37 home runs, 94 RBIs, and a WAR at around 5. They also signed Homer Bailey and Rich Hill. Bailey was okay last year. He made 31 starts, which was the most he has started in since 2013, but he did win 13 games and had an ERA of 4.30. Rich Hill was dealing with a knee injury all season, but in 13 starts, he had an ERA of 2.45. This offseason, he did have elbow surgery, so he should be back sometime before the All-Star break. Another signing for the Twins was catcher Alex Avila. He's not very known for his bat, but he's one of the best defensive catchers in the game. He had a caught stealing rate of 52.4, and he's one of the best in the business at handling a pitching staff. The bullpen, they re-signed Sergio Romo, who did really well for them last year, as well as signing Tyler Clippard. Last but not least, they did trade away one of their top prospects, Brusdar Graterol, but in return, they're getting a solid starting pitcher in Kenta Maeda. In 26 starts for the Dodgers last year, he had an ERA of 4.14 before being moved to the bullpen at the end of the year. This offseason, he did request a trade so he could become a starting pitcher again. So the Twins just happened to be the perfect spot. He will be the Twins' third or fourth starter heading into this season. Let's talk about some prospects to look out for in 2020. The most obvious is Royce Lewis, the first overall pick in the 2017 draft. Last year in the minors, he did have a bit of a down season. He hit under 240 in 517 at-bats. But right now, Baseball America does have him ranked as the best athlete, the best power hitter, and the fastest runner in all of the minor leagues. He has great plate discipline, he can hit to all fields, and he's also rapidly improving on his defense. This offseason, he's added over 20 pounds, so we could even see some more power from him, and he should be able to hold up better as the season progresses. If he puts together great stats in the first half of the season, we could absolutely see him in Minnesota at some point this season. Another prospect to keep an eye on is Alex Kirilloff. This is the Twins' best first base prospect. He has a lot of power, and if this guy is going off at AA and AAA this year, he could be called upon if someone like Nelson Cruz or Miguel Sano go down. All right, so now let's talk about some keys for the Twins in 2020. First off is the fielding. The Twins were not a very good fielding team last year. As I mentioned earlier, they were 26th in the majors in fielding percentage. They also ranked 19th in defensive runs saved, 20th in ultimate zone rating, and 20th overall in defensive WAR. While the fielding didn't seem to affect this team very much in 2019, as obviously they had a really good record, but in the end, they had another early exit in the postseason. As the old saying goes, pitching and defense wins championships. If this team wants to be more complete, they are going to have to improve in the field. Another key is the starting pitching. This team has very decent depth when it comes to starting pitching. Jose Barrios, Jake Odorizzi, Kenta Maeda, Michael Pineda, Homer Bailey, Rich Hill. These are all really good guys that can give you good production, but they don't have a clear stud in that rotation. In the postseason, if you want a chance at winning the World Series, you need to have a clear stud at the top of that rotation. Are they going to have that from someone this year? Jose Barrios, Jake Odorizzi, are either of those guys going to step up? Guys like Homer Bailey, Rich Hill, Kenta Maeda, Michael Pineda, these guys are all really decent middle of the rotation kind of guys, but is that going to be enough? I still think they are one clear-cut ace away from being serious contenders in the postseason. Speaking of the postseason, my third key for the Twins is the postseason. This team just can't figure it out in the playoffs. They have lost 16 games in a row in the playoffs, which is a major league record. 13 of those 16 losses have come to the Yankees. The Yankees are the Twins' kryptonite in the playoffs. Do you remember when Pedro Martinez called the Yankees his daddies? Well, the Twins should be saying that about the Yankees now. If the Twins want to go anywhere in the postseason this year, they are going to have to figure out how to get out of that first round. But if they run into the Yankees again, they're going to have to figure out how to beat that team, because that is a really good team this year. The Twins have a great offense. They had a historic offense last year, and now they have Josh Donaldson. But offense is not enough. You need pitching and you need fielding. That's where I think the Twins are weak. They need another guy at the top of that rotation unless Jose Barrios or Jake Odorizzi step up. And they're going to have to improve in the field. They are going to have to field better against good teams in the playoffs. Overall, right now, I think the only thing standing in the way of the Twins from reaching a World Series is the Yankees. Will we finally see the Twins be able to overcome the Yankees and their postseason demons this year and make it to the World Series? I'm not too sure. But that's just my opinion. Tell me what you think down below in the comments. How do you think the Twins are going to do this year? Do you think they're finally going to be able to overcome their postseason demons, beat the Yankees, and get to the World Series? I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.